Hey everyone, Justin Field here, a consulting systems engineer with Marco, based in the upper Midwest. I'm getting ramped up for EMC World next week and thought what better way to do that than to get Gen 4 certified. I'm coming to you today from Minnesota and the land of 10,000 lakes to talk to you about a recent Wikibon article where David Floyer wrote about the need for companies to move towards the electronic data center. An environment that has no spinning components, has share everything in mind, has predictable performance while having rich data services, and has no compromises. So what do you say we get started on this journey together? We all know that Flash plays a big part of electronic data center, so it's a great place we should start. Back in 2005, a little fruit company we know first introduced Flash technology into one of their products. And because they sold 42 million iPod Nanos that year, we knew that Flash is going to play a big part in the industry, and the storage industry itself was about to change. So that brings us to Generation 1 architectures. Back in 2008, EMC was first to introduce Flash technologies into their leading storage arrays. Flash was great to use for things like RAID groups and storage pools, where we could take a specific workload and give it a lot of high IOPS and low latency. Then Generation 2 architectures came out, where companies like Nimble and Tintri and Tagile and even EMC's VNX entered this market. These hybrid arrays were Flash optimized, where they used Flash as kind of a caching mechanism for that data to land on first before going to its spinning disk for its final resting place. Now don't get me wrong, these Flash optimized hybrid arrays, they were great, using caching mechanisms. It was just a really good idea and add a lot of performance. But they still had the same problem in mind. They were still dual controller architecture. And so because of this, Generation 2 architectures were known as the generation of insignificance. Well, then Generation 3 architectures came along, where companies like Texas Memory, part of IBM, and Violin Memory came along. These were basically like Gen 2 architectures, just minus the spinning disks. Gen 3 is where we also got the acronym AFA, or All Flash Array. Well, the problem that these first entry-level Gen 3 architectures had is that they were all, they didn't come in with any data services. And not having data services is huge. But what do I mean when I say data services? I'm talking things like software features like compression and deduplication, encryption and snapshotting. These are things that are a must nowadays. And, so then a short while later, companies like Nimbus and Pure Storage came along, and they added these data services. It was like, great, yes, we got data services. But actually, it wasn't so great because these data services, they came at a price. They came at the sacrificing performance to get the data services. It's not something you want to have to choose between. So because of all this data mess, with this mess with having different data, not having data services or having data services, along with Gen 3 still being that dual controller design, Gen 3s were known as the generation of compromise. It's not something we want to deal with. So if we take a pause right there and we think about what have we learned from these first three generations, and what do my customers really want? Well, one, they want it to be scalable, right? They want it to be able to know that as they grow, they get both capacity and performance, right? They don't want to have to choose between just getting drives and not getting front-end ports or CPU and cache. They want it to, that is only achievable if you have a scale-out architecture, not a scale-up architecture. You got to be able to have more controllers. B, they want predictable and consistent, right? They want it always on. They don't want to have to choose between having data services or getting performance. And 3, they want advanced data services. They want things like inline deduplication, zero-cost snapshotting, compression, encryption. All those data services that we've known to come and love. Well, what really comes down to is they want that shared data environment that the end of the electronic data center really promises. Well, I got good news for you, because you know what? That's exactly what the Gen 4 architecture is all about. It's a generation of no compromise. It's a place where companies can truly realize the benefits of having an agile, flash electronic data center. And I'm glad to say that XtremIO from EMC is a Generation 4 architecture. It's a tightly coupled, scale-out architecture that has share everything in mind. XtremeIO is simple, from its easy-to-use GUI that has zero planning and zero tuning. I mean, come on, things like dealing with RAID types. I mean, it's so last generation. XtremeIO is also predictable. You know exactly the performance you're going to get every time you scale, while still keeping that sub 1 millisecond latency. Plus, you add in things like 7-year flash endurance and 7-year maintenance price protection. I mean, I don't think you could find a better total cost of ownership around. XtremeIO also has unstoppable data services that are always on, they are inline, they are zero penalty, and free. Yes, you heard me right, they are free. You can create all of the test dev environments you want on your production array with zero penalty for both cost or performance. I mean, I can hear your end users and application owners singing your praises. XtremeIO is the #1 Gen 4 flash, all-flash array on the market. So that wraps up our journey. I hope you enjoyed this little time with me. I'm your captain, Justin Field, with Marco, a loyal EMC business partner, and I am now Gen 4 certified. I hope to see you all next week at the GPS Summit at EMC World. I gotta go pack my bags because I'm going to Vegas, baby.